Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Raising Mums podcast. I'm Dr. Gemma Elizabeth. I'm the founder of ourmuslimhomeschool.com, and I am the host of this podcast, Raising Mums. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite finds for my homeschool in 2019. Books, curricula, audiobooks, podcasts, all that good stuff. That's what I want to share with you today. These are things that my family have used in our homeschool and we've really enjoyed. And make sure if you enjoy this video, you share it with your friends, share it on your social media accounts, in your WhatsApp groups and all of that. Now, typically, I would do this episode live on Facebook or Instagram, but as I'm sure you can probably tell, this is a pre-recorded video because we're on holiday at the moment in the Lake District, mashallah. So I wanted to get on here and just and make a video for you anyway. And here I am. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. My baby's just gone to sleep. So I wanted to hop on here quickly and make you a video that I hope you will find useful. Before we get started, I'm sure you're aware it costs money to spread out these videos into the world. And so I'm delighted to announce that I have found a sponsor for the next few episodes. And that is a company that I've been a customer of for years and whose values really align with my own. And that is wordunited.com. So I'll just share with you a brief message from our sponsor for today. Word United is a one-stop destination for thousands of fun learning resources, including hard-to-find resources, books, and educational toys for children from birth to 11 years old. Word United is the fastest-growing educational toys and books supplier in the UK. Delivery is fast, and customers can receive free delivery over £40, free gift wrapping, and even free batteries if requested. So yeah, as I said, I've been a customer of theirs for a really long time, and I'm so grateful that they agreed to sponsor this episode. Right, let's get into it. In no particular order, I'm going to go through our favourite homeschool finds for the past 12 months. Everything that I mention in this video will be in the coordinating blog post, so make sure you check that out. I've written a blog post with all these things listed out for you, so you don't need to scribble them down, you don't need to write them out. It's all there, links are all there. So if you want to get to that blog post, I will leave the link to that with this video or with this podcast. So first of all, let's talk about curricula. So I've been looking for a science curriculum that has some depth to it, that really helps children to form connections, that isn't just a textbook and multiple choice questions, something really meaty and juicy. And I think I found it. The curriculum is from Sabbath Mood Homeschool, and we have been using their astronomy curriculum, and we really, really enjoyed it. The way it works is, I'll just grab the book. The way it works is that you buy the curriculum online, it's a downloadable thing, and you print that out. And then it goes along with a spine text. So for astronomy, it happens to be this one, Find the Constellations by H.A. Ray. And the curriculum tells you which pages to read. It then gives you an activity to go along with that reading. It gives you additional resources that you can find online, additional recommended reading if your child is particularly interested in that area of astronomy. So the astronomy goes through the universe, stars, and introduces some of the major constellations and finding them in the night sky. I would just like to say that the activities that they recommend are genuinely helpful. Sometimes you just find that they're just busy work, there's no real value to them. However, in this curriculum, I feel like the activities really added to the learning experience. So I definitely recommend, if you're looking for a science curriculum, Sabbath Mood Homeschool. They align with the Charlotte Mason philosophy, and we are hoping to do their weather curriculum at some point in the next year. The next curriculum that I want to recommend is for picture study, and that's from ahumbleplace.com, and this is free. Let me find them. I've just got a few here. I've got quite a few actually, but I've just got a couple here to show you. So you can download these for free. And you can show your kids directly from the computer screen if that's easy for you, or you can print them off as I have done. I got them bound. And then in the books, you have 6 full-size prints which are really good quality. In addition to that, you have a biography of the artist. Each of the pictures as well comes with sort of a little explanation. There's also a short introduction to what picture study is all about at the beginning of each picture study aid. So I've put the link for that in that blog post that I wrote if you want to check out these free picture study guides. I mean, before these guides, I was doing it myself, basically. I was finding the pictures myself, I was bringing in an extra biography or children's book and piecing this together myself. But now I have it already done for me, which is fantastic. So I'm going to continue using them. I really, really enjoy them. They're fun. They just make my life so much easier. If you're not sure what picture study is all about, I have written a blog post and done a YouTube video showing you a picture study lesson in my home. And I've left the link for that on the coordinating blog post if you care to check that out. The next thing that we have enjoyed so much, I didn't expect, is Paper Sloyd. I didn't even know what Paper Sloyd was before this year. So if you're not sure, Paper Sloyd is essentially construction with paper, where you're making models with paper, and the models you make are really useful things. It can kind of be compared to origami, but origami is more decorative. And Paper Sloyd was endorsed by Charlotte Mason herself as a handicraft for younger kids. It's a type of manual training, and it's considered like the precursor to woodwork. So if you're hoping that your children will one day get into woodwork, Paper Sloyd is what you do before. So your children learn, let me show you inside, your children learn to understand the instructions. They learn to follow a plan like this. They learn to use a ruler accurately, to measure accurately, to cut precisely and safely, to use staplers, to use hole punch, to tie knots and bows. They learn dexterity and practical skills. It's really nice. It's a way of, education is not just about training their mind, it's also about training their hands and learning how to use their hands. And my boys and my daughter have really, really enjoyed it, and they've made some really nice things. Let me get my book back. I'll give you an idea of the sort of things you make. So it starts off quite easy. This book in particular, Paper Sloyd by Edna Ann Rich. This book has up to 3 years worth of projects in here. We're probably gonna finish it before 3 years, to be honest with you. But you could spread it out over 3 years, is what the book suggests. So, examples of what you can make: envelope, picture frame, pinwheel, scissors case, tray, and then it moves on to things like a stamp book, a match scratcher, a handkerchief box, ribbon box, and then it gets harder. So we've got a pyramidal catch-all, a conical flower holder, hexagonal tray. So as you can see, these are things that you would actually use or your children could use at home. They have a purpose, they have a meaning. Paper Sloyd is really great because it's quite rigorous, it's quite interesting, it stimulates the intellect, but at the same time they're doing something purposeful, which I really appreciate. Okay. Next, audiobooks. We've listened to a lot of audiobooks over the past 12 months. Primarily we use Audible, mainly because it's so easy. They have a huge selection and the quality is almost always great. So I always go to Audible. The books that we've listened to, let me go through them. I've got a list here: Alice in Wonderland, Farmer Boy, which is part of the Little House on the Prairie series, Wizard of Oz, Pied Piper of Hamelin, which is actually a collection of poems, Narnia, a few of the Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia, BFG, Dr. Dolittle, and some of the Hans Christian Andersen tales, which have been really good. Audible have a deal, I'm sure you're already aware of this, and if you go through my link, you'll find it. It's basically you get your first audiobook for free, and if you're a Prime member, you actually get 2 books for free, and it's cancel anytime, so it's worth checking out. Another audio series that we've really been enjoying are the Quantum Chronicles ones. Now, we particularly like the Seerah, which is called A Year with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And that is the story of a boy who who goes back in time. So he gets to go back in time, and he chooses to go and visit the prophet, peace be upon him. And you hear his story of what he witnesses and what he sees. It's really, really good. I've learned a lot. In places it's quite sad and touching. I'd recommend that for children over the ages of 7. And if you use my discount code for that, which is Homeschool15, you will get 15% off any purchase. They do have some samples on their website as well. So take a listen to some of the samples if that sounds good to you, and just check that your kids are going to enjoy it and it's suitable for their age. So sort of leading off from that, podcasts. My kids have been enjoying a podcast called the Big Life Kids Podcast, and that teaches children how to have a growth mindset. So basically what it is each episode is an inspirational story about a child who has overcome some obstacle in their life, faced a fear, or perhaps they got ill, or overcome something to achieve great things. And these are real life stories, and my son really, really enjoys that. So I definitely recommend them. And so that's a Big Life Kids podcast. It's great. Now, podcasts that I've been enjoying, there's one called The Literary Life, and that's got Angelina Stanford and Cindy Rollins, and really been enjoying that. Basically, it's like an online book club. They take a book, a work of literature, and every week they discuss with you the previous few chapters, and it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to complete the book. So I've been really, really enjoying that and getting through a lot of books by listening to that podcast. Another one which is similar, in the sense that it's opened my eyes to a lot more authors that I were not aware of, is the Scholé sisters. And that's got Misty Winkler, Pam Barnhill, and Brandy Venchel. I think that's how you say her name. And that, again, is about self-education. It's about the idea of learning alongside your child as you homeschool. I've really enjoyed that one. And finally, there's one called A Delectable Education, which, if you're into the Charlotte Mason philosophy, you want to know more about it, you want to know particularly how the lessons look, then I would recommend A Delectable Education. It's really, really helped me to get a firmer grip of what Charlotte Mason looks like in real life. So what they do is, in some of the episodes, they actually reenact the classes. So one of the hosts will be the student, the other will be the teacher, and they'll have a lesson for you. It's really, really, really useful. Books-wise, I've really been enjoying books by Karen Glass. Now, these are not books for beginners. If you're a beginner in homeschooling or in the Charlotte Mason philosophy, I wouldn't recommend Karen Glass. But if you are familiar with Charlotte Mason and you want to go a bit deeper, they are definitely worth checking out. My favourite of them all is Consider This, which actually compares Charlotte Mason philosophy with a classical one, and actually comes to the conclusion that Charlotte Mason based her 20 principles upon and had her foundations in a classical approach to education. It's really, really interesting. Another one that Karen Glass has written is called In Vital Harmony, which goes in more depth into the Charlotte Mason principles, those 20 principles. And another one is called Know and Tell, I think it's called. It's about narration and what narration's all about. So definitely check them out if you want to know more about the Charlotte Mason philosophy. And finally, books-wise, and I know a lot of you want to read more and you're a bit rusty, but you don't want to pick up nonsense. You want something that's going to challenge you a bit, but not too much. When I was in that position, I picked up Dorothy Sayers. Now, Dorothy Sayers wrote detective novels, but her books are not twaddle. They're fantastic. So if you're looking for a book to read, I'd recommend one of hers. In particular, my favourite is Gaudy Night. Pick up Gaudy Night. You can thank me later. Really, really enjoyed that. So I just, again, like to thank my sponsor, Word United, for sponsoring this podcast and this episode of Raising Mums. Couldn't do it. I couldn't continue doing these without sponsorship, so thank you so much. So I will be back next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about something that's actually been requested, and that is homeschooling during pregnancy. I can't wait to talk about this. I've got a lot to share about what homeschooling during pregnancy looks like, how to do it, and I'm going to be back. That'll be Sunday, the 19th of January. I'll be on Facebook and Instagram, inshallah, so you can check that out. I hope I will see you there. Don't forget to take a look at the coordinating blog post that goes along with this for the full list and the links to everything that I've mentioned here in this episode. And I just want to close with a quote from Malcolm X. Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. So thank you so much to everyone who's joined me here today. I wish you all a wonderful week with your children. Be present with them, make the most of it, make it count. I am going to go to bed now. It is getting really late. It's after 1 a.m. I'm going to get some sleep. And then we're heading off tomorrow to the Lake District. So thank you so much for joining me here, and I will see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.